Moving on now to the United States, where the battle between Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Disney is only escalating. Disney has now sued Florida Governor on the charges of organizing a campaign of government retaliation. Republican politician and the entertainment giant have been fighting since the latter criticized a state law banning discussion of sexual orientation or gender identity in primary schools. Now, this lawsuit comes in after the state officials voided a development deal involving the firm's Florida theme park. Disney has now accused the Florida governor of threatening its businesses and violating its constitutional rights. Listen in to what the chairman of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight Board had to say about this entire controversy.
In an escalating battle between Walt Disney and Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, Disney on Wednesday sued the potential White House contender over his state's efforts to control its Florida theme parks. The lawsuit marks the company's response to mounting efforts by DeSantis and his supporters to exert power over Disney World, which draws millions of visitors every year to its massive amusement parks. In the lawsuit, Disney said it was left with no choice but to file it to, quote, protect its cast members, guests, and local development partners from a relentless campaign to weaponize government power against Disney in retaliation for expressing a political viewpoint unpopular with certain state officials.
Disney say gay!
The battle began last year after Disney criticized a state law dubbed Don't Say Gay, banning classroom discussion of sexuality and gender identity in schools from kindergarten through grade 3. Disney argues it was denied its First Amendment rights to free speech.
Disney do better!
The state of Florida is the new sheriff in town.
And Wednesday's lawsuit alleges that a newly formed DeSantis-appointed tourist board violated Disney's contract rights and did so without just compensation and deprived it of due process.
It's very unusual.
And just about this company and everything. It's ultimately
It's very unusual.
We are a government of laws, not a government of individual men or even a government of local corporations based in California.
A very heavy-handed form of regulation of a company. In the Republican conservative world, that's a hypocritical act. That party and that ideology is for the free market. And with regard to any objection he has to Disney's behavior, that should be a market decision regarding people who decide whether to attend Disney or not.
We are unaware of any legal right that a company has to operate its own government or maintain special privileges not held by other businesses in the state. Before the board takeover, Disney pushed through changes to the special tax district agreement that limit the board's action for decades. The tussle with Disney, which employs some 75,000 people in Florida, could hurt DeSantis as a potential White House hopeful. According to a Reuters Ipsos poll, 73% of respondents said they were less likely to support a political candidate who backs laws designed to punish a company for its political or cultural beliefs.
Disney picked the fight with this board. We were not looking out for a fight. We had agreed to meet with the leadership of Disney to figure out how we could work together. And then with respect to what you heard here, because there was a lot of detail and a lot of things that are complicated, but bottom line, what our lawyers have told us is factually and legally, what they created is an absolute legal mess. It will not work, okay?
The city councils of Bay Lake and Lake Buena Vista did not hold public hearings on or approve the development agreement that is at issue that we've been talking about for the last couple of meetings. That makes the development agreement void, ab initio. That's a fatal flaw. Each of those cities had to also conduct notice public hearings and approve this development agreement because the development agreement purports to vest densities and intensities uses and grant transfer of development rights for all properties that Disney owns. And those properties include not just what's in an unincorporated area.